here with you. Our son Andrew was killed in action in February of this year by an IED explosion outside of Kandahar. He was 31 years old. His death is no more or less significant than other soldiers that have died in wars, but gay soldier killed in Afghanistan is a compelling headline and a confounding story for some people. At times we've been a little uncomfortable with this label because, as Andrew's sister put it, being gay was the least interesting thing about him. Despite these concerns, it helps us to know that his story gave a little strength to the Don't Ask, Don't Tell repeal and continues to resonate with the broader issues of equality and freedom that face our country today. At the age of 29, Andrew announced to us that he was joining the Army. I was shocked. There was nothing about this guy that screamed military. He hated war, didn't like guns, had never used a gun as far as I knew. He didn't like being told what to do. He was messy. He was always late. And he was gay. But he was searching for purpose and friendship. This was not the impulsive decision of a teenager. He thought about it for 2 years. And he got used to the idea that he'd have to take orders, use a weapon, and see violence. And as a gay man, he fully understood that Don't Ask, Don't Tell was official military policy, and he prepared himself to look and act straight. The risks facing Andrew in the Army seemed endless to me, and I worried. After 12 years of being openly gay in an accepting family and a community, how could he hide who he was? But he reminded me that gays and lesbians have done this forever. As a straight person, it's hard to imagine. Straight people have never had to pretend that they aren't straight. And so he enlisted. On a cold January night, we dropped Andrew off at the Army Enlistment Center, located in a neighborhood strip mall. It seemed an odd place to begin this new life. We hugged him hard, wished him luck, and said goodbye. During his first year in the Army, he proved to himself and to others that he could protect and defend his fellow soldiers, and he became a friend and a confidant to many. A year into his enlistment, Andrew felt comfortable telling his fellow soldiers that he was gay, and he told me later that it was no big deal. No one cared, not even the religious and more conservative soldiers. He was a good soldier. He was well-liked and respected. His sexuality didn't matter. When bombs are dropping and bullets are flying, soldiers are not thinking about whether the guy next to them is gay. The Taliban doesn't discriminate, and IEDs don't either. As we have painfully learned, gay soldiers die too. After Andrew died, his fellow soldiers said these things about him. I want to be the soldier and the man that Andrew was. Because of Andrew, I'm going to try and be a better father, and I'll miss my brother forever. Before his company left Afghanistan this summer, they named their combat outpost after him. Combat Outpost Wilfahrt stands 6 miles outside of Kandahar city and is now occupied by another military police company. What all these tributes tell me is that in the military, a good soldier is defined by many things, and sexual preference is not in the equation. But as a mom, it makes me proud when the men and women he served with tell us stories about how Andrew was always willing to drop what he was doing to help someone else. That he was the funny man that could break the tension after a long day of patrol, and that he was the closest friend some of them had ever had. As one of his best buddies put it, Andrew never judged me. DADT is thankfully now a thing of the past, and though it may seem like a sudden huge change to some, all of us here today know that it came about because of your service and the everyday actions of thousands of gay and lesbian soldiers. I didn't know much about the military when Andrew enlisted, and arguably I still don't. But I have come to see that the military is a reflection of our nation's diversity. Its members a mix of racial, religious, socioeconomic backgrounds. And if Andrew's experience of acceptance is common, then as a society we are definitely making progress towards greater acceptance of our LGBT citizens, and about this I feel very hopeful. But as we make progress, you know we still have challenges ahead. Americans love to recite that worn-out phrase, "Our soldiers fight to protect our freedoms," yet at the same time we're so quick to limit the freedoms of some citizens here at home. It is not lost on us that Andrew died protecting rights that he himself could not enjoy, especially the right to marry the person he loved. Like our son, when you enlisted, you took an oath to protect and defend the Constitution. Yet as we buried our son back home in Minnesota, a small group of state legislators managed to push a state constitutional amendment banning gay marriage on the ballot in November of 2012. The Constitution you are serving to protect, the Constitution that our son died for, was intended to protect rights, not to deny them. Andrew believed social change was always possible, and that each one of us could make change happen by doing the smallest things in our own communities, and we do too. So in the next year, Jeff and I are going to work hard to keep this discrimination out of our state constitution. We hope that his story will make people think twice about their knee-jerk reactions to gay marriage and their ideas about freedom and liberty. Many state constitutions have been abused in our nation over the last 10 years, and maybe Minnesota can stop this trend in 2012. I want you to know that ordinary people like Jeff and I are on your side, and we're willing to fight with you and for you, and there are a lot of people like us willing to do the same. But tonight, we celebrate the progress we've made so far. You deserve it. We are thrilled that DADT has been repealed and that you can now serve your country openly and without fear. While we are deeply saddened that Andrew can't mark this long overdue moment, we know that he would be proud of the work that your organizations are doing, and he was honored to be one of you. I know that he is with us tonight in spirit. Thank you all for your service and all that you continue to do to make things right for all LGBT citizens of this country. Thank you.